Hi y'all, freeze crack. Hey, I'm continuing with my concept of just grabbing some rocks that I haven't hit and hitting them to see what the deal is. I really didn't want to grab this one and hit it. Well, I mean, I grabbed it, but then I thought, man, I shouldn't hit this on camera. And the reason is, number one, I have no idea where I got it, but there's several things sketchy about it. There's a couple, you know, it obviously was tabular ledge type flint. It broke in straight lines along the side, which is okay, but there's like a seam right here, and the middle of it looks very questionable. I'm not sure what the deal is there. But then there's a couple of cracks like right in here that look like they run into it. And then somebody, maybe me, maybe somebody else, took a test flake here, and it almost looks like chalcedony to me as opposed to flint. But then it's got a reddish tinge all around it, like maybe it's been heated, which makes no sense. So I don't know what the deal is with it. So having said all that, okay. Yeah, you got to be careful. When you hit on a corner like that, well, it's your typical gray-looking, not great flint. I guess it's not anything particularly weird. But I don't know how far the seams run in on it. We'll hit it a while, I guess. I don't usually do a lot of working on my leg. I started out working on my leg quite a bit. And then at some point, once I got where I could swing pretty good in the air, I started feeling like the working off my leg was kind of hindering my swing and stuff, and I might get a better result most of the time working on the air. But I know people that do both. This is not, you know, great to start out this way, but I'm not worried about it because I'm going to start changing tactics like right about now. I'm still going to work on my leg a while. Okay, see, there's a crack and there's a crack. And when I look at it, it kind of looks like this goes down a ways. But it looks like it's not a crack in the middle, so we'll see. This could be one of those tragic endings. We're like halfway through a video, it falls apart, and I say, bye. So is this working? Yeah, it looks like you can see it as long as I keep in frame. I'm just hinging these things out down into here. Okay, bird, you were real loud yesterday. I mean, I'd rather hear birds than airplanes, but it's not like I get a choice. Cracks. And the red in there, that's from groundwater with iron in it, so that one looks like it could go deep, and it definitely isn't going to be healed. Probably down to its depth because iron doesn't tend to. Sometimes you get a secondary replacement later of the iron area where it leaves a stain, but it gets replaced again with good silica. But not always. Hey man, I just dropped all of those flakes in my shoe. Bad thing. The way I figure it, you know, the rock's here, I'm here. If you've got unlimited amounts of rock and you don't care to try and play the game and beat the rock, then, I mean, this thing has been heated, I think. Somebody heated this. Unless it got naturally heated, which is also a possibility. That might be the probability, because heating this rock like it was is not something most people would do, because you wouldn't expect it to survive. But it's definitely not as tough as raw rock, and it does have that reddish tinge, so it's been in heat one way or the other. I guess I can start on this end and that looks like an ancient head. I wonder if I can pull that off. As long as I'm being wild. I'm trying to scratch this enough. This would be a square edge, that comes out a little bit. I'm trying to scratch it enough to make it let go. This is all so sketchy. Man, I'm kind of hesitant to hit everything. Then again, deep crack. That's a very bad thing. You can see the water staining, how it seeped into the rock from these cracks. Turn around where you can see maybe better. Yeah, that's kind of like I sort of was afraid the rock would be. I'm going to hit this and hope that this doesn't just fall apart. I'm going to hit it a little bit shockier. Yeah, that there almost looks overheated. That's real shiny. So we'd guess this happened out in nature and that the heat didn't help the quality of the heat made the rock softer, but it also caused the cracks. That just blew up. Very interesting, kind of, not really. sort of like an art form to hitting on a square edge. I don't even really know very well how to describe it. There's a little like caliche or chalk or some kind of stuff on here that's too soft, because what I want is I have to hit, I don't have great angle on this, so I have to hit hard and quickly to try and get the thing to go. I don't mind it digging in, I'm just trying to get some of the thickness off of it. Because when you got stuff like this where it's like, you know, 1 inch thick, and then obviously there aren't a bunch of cracks on this side. It looks like something is wrong there, but there aren't a bunch of cracks on this side. These are deep, and this got more heat. This was a higher quality flint in here, and so the heat reacted on it worse. This stuff right out here isn't overheated, that is. And this over here is a lower quality, and so it didn't get as overheated. So odds are I'm gonna lose a bunch of this. The question is, am I gonna keep enough for a preform? I ran that all the way down to there. And it may have looked like I hit that hard and fast, but it was like medium. I stepped down to this size bopper because sometimes that biggest bopper gets kind of clunky. If you swing it slow. Now, one of the reasons I'm trying to go straight in with these things is because of the cracks. I don't like to put a bunch of shocky forces. I mean, I'm going along the lengthwise side of the cracks going in there, but I mean, I've got cracks here. So I know that things may well let go, because it looks like the cracks come all the way down pretty close to this surface, so we'll see. Lots of cracks and bad stuff. And the real shiny soft fillet, that just blew up there. This whole outer surface is just blowing up. And a fair percentage of the time, you'll get nothing out of a rock like this. But sometimes you do. And it's not like I need this piece of material or covet a gray point, you know. Oh man, I haven't made a gray point in like 10 minutes, and so I wanted just a plain gray point. This is not a good situation. I'm gonna go ahead and lose a little length and try and bring this end up, because these cracks are down. These cracks are going down low enough that I know this length down here at this end isn't going to be able to be utilized anyway. By the way, way more likely to get cut when you're hitting on blow-up material. So that's that bottom layer that was the better flint. You know, the typical Texas rock, the skin was good and it just wouldn't take the heat. And then the bottom layer is worse, lower quality, whiter, grayer stuff, and it will take a lot higher heat. You can see that layer line right there. That was the good stuff. So it's probably a good idea to hit this rock, if for no other reason than to show you that. You can see what it did. That butterscotch layer, that's what everybody wants to work. And what's funny is sometimes you go look for rock, you know, in a river kind of environment, and you find bad rock, and you find low-grade rock, and you find the good stuff. And unfortunately, the good stuff is frequently ruined, and the low-grade rock isn't, because it's just more fragile. Higher quality, easier to mess up by nature as well as people. Okay. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure out a way to stay hitting along these cracks, because there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I got under that crack. It's not on there. Oh, well, it comes through right here. So it's still a vestige of it there, but I got under that. So we got one big crack left. Big crack left. And we do not have a very good platforming situation here. Holding it together at the end and trying to... I just terminated it into there because it was too low to get enough thickness to do any undercutting of this, so there was no point in hitting that hard. Okay, in particular, when you have soft rock or heated rock, if you make those vertical scratches in the edge, come back and cross grain like that, because you do not want vertical scratches in an edge, particularly on bad rock. Okay, so I just hit straight down it, and you can see it came down to here. And unfortunately, see, if this rock wasn't heated, I could try and drive these things further. But since it has been heated, I can't. And the problem is that I can carefully try, if I bevel this and get where I could hit this direction, I could carefully try and come in there, but I don't like to kick a crack from the side. But it's so long that trying to get it just from the ends is risky, because this flint in here is probably okay. So if I lose this to get at that, I'm running the chance that it'll be cracked so far through that it'll just break in half here. Of course, I'm running that chance anyway, because you can see this crack goes up pretty darn high into that. So we may leave that for a moment and try and work off some of this side stuff a little more and see if we can get some weight off of it and get some potential platforms where I can angle in a little bit. Because I've hit enough rock that I can probably angle in and hit it without getting too crazy, forcing, shocking it. But it's my preference to do it the other way. I like to hit long cracks. Crack is sharp too. Cut your funnel. Do a little bit of deburring it, de-sharpening it. De-sharpening it. Dang, be right back.